What's going on, guys? JonJonTheWise here, and I got another Cyberpunk video for you guys. This time, this is a new series that is a Patreon exclusive, but I'm giving you the first one for free just so you guys can see what it's all about. This video series will help you build your epic Cyberpunk campaign from beginning to end. I will show you guys how I do my campaigns, how I do my sessions, how I make it work, and everything in between. This first one will be free to give you guys a taste on exactly how I do it. But then after that, you're going to have to go to my Patreon, where for $5 a month, you'll be able to have access to this entire series and all of its videos in the future. And later on down the line, once I complete the entire series, I will release it, but that's going to be in a while. So if you are about to start your Cyberpunk campaign, then I would highly recommend that you guys support on the Patreon. It also means a lot to me if you can support me on the Patreon for this series. I have a lot of cool exclusive content that I have planned for the future. You guys will see my videos first. You guys will see my podcast first. So join the Patreon. You'll get more of videos like this. And make sure you guys join our Discord community. The link will be in the description below. We're a cool community of people that love Cyberpunk, and we're here to help you out. Make sure you follow me on social media at JonJonTheWise. I'm on all social media, so don't be shy. Connect with me. Let's have fun. And make sure you guys are subscribed to the podcast, Tabletop Cyberpunk, where I ramble about Cyberpunk, talk about war stories, and do all kinds of stuff. So I might have some really cool guests on there as well. All right, so let's get straight into the video. All right, so you guys want to build an epic campaign. That's what you want to do. You don't want to go through any pre-made campaigns. You don't want to do one-shots. You want this to be the big hot tamale. I mean, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever you can. This video assumes that you have all your players, you guys have your set time and date, and everybody's in it for the long haul. You guys want to make an epic campaign that will give you memories for a lifetime, and you don't know how to get started because it is such a daunting task. There is paralysis by analysis, or analysis by paralysis, one of those phrases. But what that literally means is there's so many options and there's so many things that you need to do that you just don't know where to begin. You don't know where to start, and it just overloads your brain, and then you end up packing up all your books, putting everything away, and not doing the campaign. Well, I'm here to remedy that, guys, because I've been through that as well. And with this video series, you guys will be able to create your campaign from beginning to end. And I will give you all the tips and all the tricks that I use in my campaign building that will help you guys down to the session, what we do each session, what we do each scene of each session, what we do for each character, blah, blah, blah. I will give you everything that I do. So the first step to campaign building is setting goals. Before you do anything, before you put pen to paper, before you figure out what system you even want to play, you got to set goals on what this campaign is going to be. Number one, I always want to tell a cool story. I want to make sure that the story I tell is a lasting story that people will remember, something I can be proud of, some elements of the story that I want to explore from inspiration that I've gotten from movies and books and all kinds of stuff. I want to explore that. I want to know what it's like to live in a dystopian future or to have a corporation chasing you. I want to know what that's like. So I want to tell a cool story that isn't too cliche, that is fun. And number two is I want everybody to have fun. I want everybody from the ground up, from all the players, from the people watching, the audience watching for my actual plays, and importantly as well, myself. I want to have fun as well. I want to make sure that by the time we finish this campaign, I can say that this was a fun campaign and we told a cool story. Number three, I want to make sure that the players are connected to the story somehow. I want the characters that they've created and their backstory, and by the end of this campaign, I want everything all together about the characters to be so connected to it that they feel like this is part of their story. This is their memory. And there has to be a way where I can tell my own story, exploring the themes that I want to, keeping it fun, keeping it cool, and making sure that the players feel like it's a personal part of their characters' lives. Next, I want to make sure that I'm taking advantage of every mechanic of the game, whether I'm playing Cyberpunk or Dungeons and Dragons or Starfinder. I want to make sure that I'm flexing all the mechanics: space combat, vehicle combat, skill checks, making new things with the tech maker ability in Cyberpunk. I want to try all these mechanics. I want to try everything. I want to make sure that I don't skip any part of the book, because I did that for a long time with net running in 2020. And when Red came along, and net running, in my opinion, was made in a more easily digestible way, I enjoyed it immensely. And I realized if I had just given 2020 a chance, maybe I would have figured something about the 2020 net running that I would have liked personally. So I want to make sure that I don't leave any kind of mechanic behind. I try to explore everything that I can, and most of all, have fun and see where its limitations are. See where I can homebrew, see where I can fix things, and see what the designers meant for us when they created this game. And finally, my last goal is to make cool characters that the players can interact with, that they can remember for a long time, that they can say, remember Todd the Toad, the giant toad that ate the dryad in that mystical forest? Man, that guy was hilarious. I would love to see Todd come back again. Those are the kinds of things that you want your players to say about the characters that you have in your world, because they leave lasting memories. They leave an imprint in their mind, and people will never forget about Todd the great giant golden toad, because that was one of my goals. All right, so now we have our goals. We know what we want to do with this campaign. And before we even do anything, now we're ready. We're ready. We have a goal set in mind. Every session, every campaign arc, every character interaction will always come back to these goals that we made. And these goals will be our guideline to let us know if we're messing up or we have to get back on track, or what we can do to amplify our fun with this campaign. So the next thing I would do after I have set my goals is I tell my players to create their characters. Now, some people think that this is a little bit backwards, that you should be making the setting, the background, the world, the NPCs, and then tell your players to make the characters. I think with Cyberpunk that this is a mistake because of the life path system. The life path system is such a great way to figure out who the bad guys are, who the allies are, and how, remember, one of my goals is to connect the players to the story. Well, how about I don't write a story yet until I know exactly who the players are, their background, who they're connected to, then I'll start writing the story. I want to make sure by the end of our campaign that at least one or two plot points in their characters has been covered, has been buttoned up. That corporate that was after him is dead or is an ally now. The booster gang has been wiped out. These are things that I want to explore in the campaign while still connecting it to the story. And I won't be able to make a story without knowing exactly who my players are, who their characters are, their motivations, and everything that has to do with them. Next, you want to ask your players whether they want to go rules as written or homebrew, or rather than ask them, you want to tell them that, hey, these are my restrictions. These are the things that I want your character to have and develop, and these are the things that I don't want your character to be able to have. In 2020, I did this a lot. And almost everybody that I spoke to with Cyberpunk 2020, there were some kind of restrictions, there was some kind of changes, and really a lot of the changes and restrictions that I put on my players in 2020 translated directly to Cyberpunk Red. And in my opinion, the Cyberpunk Red character creation system is just the right amount of limit for the players, where you can make them a starting character for a starting campaign. And I don't mean level 1. I mean, we're starting our campaign at this point, where they can grow and they can excel and they can change and evolve throughout the campaign. That's something that 2020 didn't really ask you to do. They said, have at it, do whatever you want, put 10s in every stat, put 10s in every skill, get all the giant weapons. We don't care, have fun. But that left a lot of game masters feeling like the bad guy because they were limiting their players on something where they were used to power playing, and the book doesn't say that we have to be limited, so why be limited? That's what I loved about Cyberpunk Red, is that limitation was there, and they suggested that you do it because the entire book is balanced around the idea that you're making a starting character, and these are the starting items and money and blah blah blah. So you have to decide whether you want to go as rules as written or raw or homebrew and create some restrictions and some changes to the character creation process that will better suit your campaign. The last part of character creation is asking your players to be part of a composition, a prerequisite composition like one fixer, one solo, one medtech. That's something that you might want to do. I personally do not ask my players to restrict anything. They usually on their own do it. Nobody wants to be the second fixer or the second med tech. So you can go along having a second solo, but having everybody be one different aspect of the game, one different role, is fun because you can explore things differently with all of them. But I don't like restricting my players. I want them to play the character they want to play, the character they imagine, the character that they love, because remember, I'm connecting them to the story. So I want them to make the perfect creature that I can toy with, mess with, and inject into my story. I don't want to be able to tell them what they can and can't play because I want them to have just as much fun as I do. So it's up to you. You have to decide whether you want your party's composition to be a specific way. Maybe you don't want solos in the group because you want to explore other parts of the game. So you might limit the party to not playing solos. So that's up to you. We have enemies, allies, players. We have our goals. And we probably already have our setting as well. Where do these players want to be? We have an idea of it. But before we do any of that stuff, we need to make sure that we write the sentence. Now, what is the sentence? The sentence is a formula that I've been using for my campaign building, and I've found it to be one of the greatest tools that's ever been bestowed upon me and blessed upon my mind by anyone in the world. The person that has introduced me to the sentence is also, I believe, the creator of the sentence. I think that he drew it from screenwriting. I'm not sure if he invented it, but he definitely has introduced me to it. Guy Sklanders from How to Be a Great Game Master. If you want to know more about the sentence and more about Guy, make sure you check out his channel. And make sure you check out the interview I did with him on Tabletop Cyberpunk, where we talked about the sentence, we talked about campaign building, and make sure you purchase his book, The Complete Guide to Creating Epic Campaigns. I always mess it up, so that's why I wrote it there. The Complete Guide to Creating Epic Campaigns. It is available on drivethrurpg.com. Make sure you guys pick up this book if you want another way to supplement your campaign writing. You can find his book. It'll be your awesome guide to writing campaigns. It has all kinds of charts and all kinds of really cool stuff within it. And it's been a really valuable resource for me for writing my campaigns. But if I could give you guys one tidbit from the book, it is the sentence. The sentence, like I said, is that formula that can help you guys create your epic campaign. Now, it's easy to just say that. Let me give you guys my paraphrased example of what the sentence is. This is not the sentence verbatim, but this is my understanding of what the sentence is. And it is, someone wants to achieve something within a period of time, and they're having difficulty achieving that because of reasons. Usually the reasons are the players or player involvement. So somebody wants something within a period of time, but they can't get the thing that they want to do. They can't achieve it because of the players or something that the players are involved with. Now, with this formula, you can take, remember, we had bad guys, we have allies, we have all those things. Usually corporations are perfect for this. You can just put them into this formula and you have an idea for your entire campaign. For example, let me give you guys the sentence that I used for my Wise Guys campaign, the original 2020 Red hybrid game that I have on my YouTube channel. I'm sorry, not that one. It was the RKO Gaming Con that was supposed to be a one-shot. It's the most recent Cyberpunk Red campaign that I've just finished. So let me give you guys the sentence for that. The sentence was, Biotechnica wants to create a new hybrid AI system using human consciousness similar to the Soul Killer program as soon as possible. Though they are close to achieving that, there are factors that are hindering them, such as the players. That is my inspiration. Biotechnica wants to do something within a certain specific time period, but they can't do it because of the players' involvement. They wanted to create this weird AI system that's similar to the Soul Killer program, but is a better, more functioning, evolving AI, but they can't do it because of the players. Now, why is this sentence so important? This sentence will be something that you can always go back to as you're writing your campaign. This is something that I can revisit time and time again when I have writer's block. Where are the players supposed to go? What are we supposed to do next? What's the next part of this story that it will move it along? Go back to your sentence. How close is Biotechnica to creating this AI? How are the players involved in stopping them? What are some of the things that they want to do with this AI that the players are not letting them do? What is Biotechnica achieving and not achieving, and how are the players involved with it? This sentence will give you the ability to eliminate writer's block. It'll give you the ability to create your story from beginning to end. And the best way to make this sentence is to get your players involved with it. Make the bad guy be somebody that your players are involved with. Make the sentence work for your players. Now remember, the sentence is just one tool. It's my favorite tool. It's something that I love using for my own campaigns and my own writing. But something similar to that can be used for your writing as well. Just remember that you have to have goals for your campaign. Your players have to create their characters. Using those players, create a formula where you can create an epic campaign using their life path, allies, enemies, and everything, all of the above. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed this series so far on episode 1. We are just talking about the beginning stages. I have more stuff to talk about, and I'm talking about getting deep into each session, each minute of each session, plotting out every part of the campaign. If you guys want to be a part of this series, make sure you join the Patreon so you can get into this exclusive series before anybody else and before I release it to the public, which will be way later on down the line when it's complete. Before then, you guys will be able to exclusively have access to this campaign building exercise, my own personal campaign building exercise, and hopefully you guys can have epic, awesome campaigns that the players are connected to, that you'll always remember, and will leave lasting memories for everybody around the table. All right, guys, have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching and supporting. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.